Welcome back to another one of these college team videos on Madden 19. Today we have Florida. This team's decent, like it's not good really at all. It's a 77 overall without a quarterback. Instead of signing one in free agency, I'm just going to let the computer sign whoever they want, and then that will be my quarterback for this. I couldn't find many running backs. I found these three guys just in free agency. You got Mike Gillislee, Matt Jones, and Mac Brown, I believe his name is. Yeah, so I guess Mike Gillislee will be the running back. Not a great look, honestly. Like, he's not a bad running back, but he's only a 72 overall. I mean, it's not going to be, that good of a rushing season from us. Jordan Reed, of course, is a tight end, but there weren't many wide receivers out of Florida either, so I moved him down to wide receiver number 1. 83 overall, pretty good there, honestly. Huge drop-off from tight end because he's like a 91 overall tight end. But we have Trey Burton here, so I figured I'd start Trey Burton at tight end because he's an 88, and then Jordan Reed can just be the number 1 wideout. Antonio Callaway hopefully can develop for us. I really want that to happen. I want him playing the slot and the number 2 there. Demarcus Robinson is also here. He's not too bad. 23 years old. Then Deontay Thompson, I think his name is down here. And then we also have Chris Thompson. Yeah, we have Chris Thompson down here. So, I mean, the wide receiver core isn't too deep, but it's not terrible. I'm pretty sure I've had worse, to be honest. This offensive line is actually one of the best I think we've had, honestly. We have pretty good players at each offensive lineman position. Trent Brown starting at left tackle. DJ Humphries, of course, is a left tackle. Moved him into guard. He plays horribly at left tackle in simulation. I'm pretty sure Trent Brown does as well. Then we have Mike Pouncey here at center. I'm probably going to confuse their names. I always confuse Mike Pouncey and Marquise Pouncey. I mean, they're twins with pretty similar names. Both start with an M. I don't know. I always confuse them. But of course, Mike Pouncey on the Chargers, Marquise Pouncey on the Steelers. I know that much, but I don't know. I always confuse them. And then Marcus Gilbert will be the starting right tackle. So, the offensive line actually pretty nice there. Niles Paul is the backup tight end. He didn't go to Florida. I do have a tight end who did. Hold on, I forgot his name. It's something McGee. He's like a 62 overall. I might as well put him as the backup, though. He was on the Steelers initially. I really don't remember his name. Hold on, let me find him. There he is, Jake McGee, 62 overall. He's going to be the backup tight end, backing up Trey Burton. Of course, the much better option there, at least overall-wise. Maybe this McGee guy can turn into a beast in a couple of years. Who knows? On the defense, though, we have Keanu Neal, who is a very talented, strong safety. Of course, injured in real life. It's a shame for the Falcons there. Marcus May is a good free safety. He's also injured, I think, now. Cornerback core is actually very deep. You got Joe Hayden, Quentin Dunbar, Brian Poole, Vernon Hargraves, Quincy Wilson, and then there's like a couple other guys down there. I think Tabor, I'm pretty sure it's Tabor. He's down there, and then there's another corner, I believe. I don't remember, though, but, on this screen here, it only shows the top, 5. Joe Hayden, of course, the best. He's actually pretty good, 86 overall. Quentin Dunbar isn't too bad either. He's 79 overall, 26 years old. Decent-looking stats, great acceleration on him. Brian Poole isn't too bad either, so good group of cornerbacks there. Good secondary in general. Then we have Alex Anzalone starting at right outside linebacker. I thought it was pronounced Anzalone. I could be wrong, but I'm just going to say Anzalone. I feel like that's how I've heard it pronounced, at least more recently. Jared Davis at middle linebacker. John Bostic, 80 overall. Honestly, not terrible at outside linebacker. I want Alex Anzalone, though, playing as much as possible because I think he has a pretty bright future. I'm pretty sure I've seen him win like Defensive Player of the Year a couple times in Sim. This defensive line is also not too bad. Carlos Dunlap, Dante Fowler, Taven Bryan, Jonathan Bullard. Jonathan Bullard's, of course, like a defensive end, but actually Dominic Easley would be a good defensive tackle. I'm going to go that route. He's actually a 75 overall D tackle. I'll keep Bullard at D tackle as well. I think it's not going to really affect too much, honestly. I'll move Dominic Easley over to defensive tackle, where he will start alongside Taven Bryan. He is going to be a 75 overall. Honestly, that's perfectly fine. It's funny that he's an outside linebacker. He's at least listed as an outside linebacker in this game for the Rams, but he's like a 70. He's a higher overall defensive tackle. Kind of funny. Special teams, we have Johnny Townsend, pretty decent looking rookie punter, and then Caleb Sturgis, and I don't know your first name, Eddie. All right, Eddie Pinheiro, starting as like the backup kicker, I guess. And then on the specialist side, I have to make sure the third down running back and the power halfback are correct. I'll do that in a second. Trey Burton's currently the slot wide receiver. I'll fix that. Brian Poole, fine at slot corner. Rush left end is good. Rush right end is good. Rush defensive tackle is good. Sub linebacker, Reggie Nelson's the backup. All right, well, I'll have to fix this screen, but then I'll see you at the midseason. At the mid-season mark, this team has a bye week, so I don't know what the record is just yet. It is 1-7. That makes sense. We don't have a good team, really. We definitely have a lot of pieces missing. Hopefully we can fill those holes in the draft. The Colts, though, are 7-1. I can't remember if I traded anybody to the Colts. The Texans are 6-2, and the Titans are 2-5. So Sam Bradford's the quarterback. I guess that's who the computer signed. It's whatever. He's clearly not playing that well if the team's 1-7. I doubt he's really impacting the team much. 1 experience point for a couple guys. Defensively, we have 1 for some guys, 2 for Keanu Neal. Probably be the highest rated player on this defense like this entire time. So let me bring back who I need to bring back, and I'll see you at the end of the year. So obviously, this team did not end up making the playoffs. They got 2 wins. All right. 11-5 for the Texans, 10-6 from the Colts, and then 7-9 from the Titans. So we should have the first overall pick, so at least that's good, I guess. Lost every game in the preseason. Lost the opening 4. We beat the Chiefs. Okay. Lost a whole bunch in a row, and then beat the Colts, who are actually pretty decent. At least at the midseason mark, they were pretty good. Tom Brady wins MVP. Alright, it's pretty expected. Sam Bradford, under 3,600 yards. Pretty good season, though. 25 touchdowns, 9 picks. That's really not too bad. Mike Gillislee, actually not that bad either. Almost 4 yards a carry, 4 touchdowns, did fumble 6 times. So, like, that's not a great season, but, like, I've had better running backs do far worse. Jordan Reed gets over 1,000 yards. Trey Burton gets 8 touchdowns. Antonio Callaway, not doing too well, but that's okay. Blocking, pretty good aside from Trent Brown. 126 tackles from Jared Davis, not too bad. We have 14 tackles for loss for Taven and Byran, and for Carlos Dunlap. 11 for Dominic Easley is pretty good. Not that many sacks. 5.5 from Carlos Dunlap leads the team. 3 picks for Marcus May, 2 for Quentin Dunbar and Joe Hayden, 1 from John Bostic, Brian Poole, and Alex Anzalone. So Keanu Neal didn't get one. How many tackles did he end up getting? 91 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. Okay, just no interceptions. That's fine. Any defensive touchdowns? No. Any safeties? We have 1 from Taven Bryan, and then no blocked kicks. We were 31st in the NFL in offense. Somehow there was an offense worse than ours. 28th on defense. All right, well the defense is actually kind of decent, but I guess they're horrible. I mean, the overall was kind of okay, but their actual stats were pretty bad. So obviously nobody from the Jags will be in this, but Sam Darnold is. AFC Offensive Player of the Year goes to Tom Brady. Anybody from the Jaguars? No. Defensive Player of the Year, Jatavis Brown. Offensive Rookie of the Year, we have Antonio Callaway in there at number 10. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Minkah Fitzpatrick. He's up to a 93 overall. Man, he's a good player to have. Alright, nobody from the Jags. I just want to see something. Is Sam Bradford in this list? I don't see him. Is Mike Gillislee in this list? I feel like he actually could be. He's not. Alright, I just wanted to check. So, how many experience points do we have? I doubt many. Let's see. We have 1 for a bunch of guys on the offensive side. No one with more than that, though. Defensively, we have 2 from Jared Davis, 3 from Marcus May and Keanu Neal. I've always said Gerard, but I think I'm just going to say Jared for the rest of this time. I don't know. 2 for Brian Poole as well. 2 for a couple other guys. Not horrible on the defensive side. The offense needs a lot of work, though. I traded away all of my early draft picks in this one. I think I had like 3 picks within the top 10. So right now, I'm going to be selecting all the players who are out of Florida. There aren't many. Actually, there's a decent number of them, but none of them are good, really. I mean, okay, so there's this guy who's out of Miami. Obviously not out of Florida. I mean, it's a school in Florida, but I just want to select him because there's no quarterback I found who went to Florida. I just want to select him just so I at least have a quarterback for the next 2 seasons in case I don't find any in future drafts. I mean, I don't want to just keep re-signing quarterbacks in free agency or just signing them in general, so I'm just going to draft that dude and just have him play the rest of the time. He's going to be horrible, but Cesar Alfaro is going to be the first player we select. 65 overall. Of course, he's terrible. I had the pick directly after that last one, so here we're going to reach again. And we're going with Gregory Tapp. Equally as bad. 64 overall. I should probably just skip by all of these draft picks, you know, the ones that, you know, really don't matter. But Ray Dillon might actually be like the best player in the class for us here. Let's go with him. 73 overall. Normal dev. He's actually not that bad. 83 speed is pretty nice, actually. How tall are you? 6'7", 83 speed. Not terrible. 73 catching is pretty bad, but good short route running, decent acceleration. Not that bad of a tight end. Now we have Spencer Swanson, who looks absolutely terrible. 62 overall. None of these guys are going to play. The quarterback, I think, will be the only one who will start. He's not even really supposed to start, but I'll make the exception for this since I still have not found a quarterback. And, you know, I looked in free agency before the regular season started, like the first season. I couldn't find any. Let's go with Jose Fernandez here, who's going to be horrible. 66 overall. And then this quarterback will round out the draft for us. Our next pick's in the 4th round here. Let's see what this guy's all about. If he has like superstar dev or some kind of crazy development for some reason, I won't start him then, but I'm just expecting this guy to be terrible. 68 overall, normal development. That's fine, you know, to start for the rest of the time for us. If needed, hopefully we find a quarterback next year, though. I hope that doesn't bother you guys too much, you know, that we selected a quarterback who's going to start, who didn't go to Florida, but he's a 68 overall. I would have just done the same thing anyway. If we didn't select this guy, I would have just like went into free agency and you know, just signed like a 70 overall guy, so just kind of felt like getting someone for long-term-ish. The computer actually drafted decently with the next 2 picks, 73, 74 overall, and then down below the 70s again. Let's check out the entire NFL, though. I really don't know who's good in this draft. Also, the Vikings. I didn't even mean to go to them. They have an 80 overall left tackle, though. Looks pretty good. The first rated player is Antoine Porton out of Nebraska. One of these offensive linemen with crazy strength, probably. Yeah, 93 strength. Nice-looking offensive lineman. Fisher Howell out of Texas. Star Dev, 82 overall. That guy has very good man coverage for his safety. Okay, he's pretty nice looking. Ross Richburg, Riley Cascaden. Good looking draft. So the team did not change much. Honestly, the team just got worse because of regression. But, you know, the same pieces are here, really. We just have a new quarterback who will probably not do too well. I'm actually going to change the scheme to spread. Let's see if this makes this quarterback go off. Even if it's a bad scheme fit, I'm going to it. Spread is my fallback. If we play well, I'll feel kind of bad because the quarterback's not even supposed to be here, but whatever. I'm going to let it go. Here's the team. It's a 75 overall. Really not good. 79 on the defense. The defense is actually pretty good. I still haven't spent the experience points, so the overall is probably around like a 77, 78-ish after I would spend all these. I'll do that, and then I'll see you at the midseason. Oh, Joe Hayden regressed a ton. Man, alright, so this team is going to get really bad. Let's see if the team is doing any better at this midseason mark. They're 2-6. Okay, so they doubled the win total from last year's midseason. 6-2 from the Titans, 4-4 from the Colts, 2-5 from the Texans. Only a couple players on the offense here have an experience point. No one really that important. I guess Trent Brown's actually pretty important there at left tackle. A couple guys on the defense as well. The defense is actually looking pretty good, if I'm being honest. So let's bring back all the players here, you know, who I need to. Joe Hayden is just kind of bad now, but definitely going to bring him back. Marcus Gilbert's going down overall. John Bostic will start regressing soon. I'll bring all these guys back, but man, some of these guys just aren't good anymore. The team did not make the playoffs once again, pretty obviously. 3-13, and then 9-7 from the other 3 teams in the division. Okay. Interesting looking division there. We won a preseason game this time. Lost against the Broncos, but beat the Chiefs again. Why are we so good against the Chiefs? Beat the Colts, beat the Falcons, who are normally pretty good, and then lost the rest. Okay, so the 3 teams we beat were actually kind of decent. Very surprising there. Le'Veon Bell is the MVP of this season. The quarterback didn't play too well. He actually played really badly, so that's fine. Mike Gillislee, not good, but it's okay. I mean, he's a really bad running back, like overall-wise, so I didn't expect him to play well. Antonio Callaway, 1 yard short of 1,000. That's a pretty nice season, though. 7 touchdowns from Jordan Reed's pretty good. Trey Burton had an okay season. Blocking, pretty decent, actually. A lot better from last year. Trent Brown improved a bit. 128 tackles from John Bostic is pretty good. 100 from Alex Anzalone. We have 20 tackles for loss for Taven Bryan. Okay. 12 from Dante Fowler and 11 from Carlos Dunlap. Not too many sacks. 5.5 from Carlos Dunlap leads the team. Interception, 3 from Joe Hayden, 2 from Keanu Neal, 1 from Alex Anzalone, Marcus May, Jalen Watkins, and Brian Poole. There's a dog barking its head off outside. I'm sorry if you guys can hear that. Defensive touchdowns, 1 from Joe Hayden. We have no safeties, and then we have 2 blocked kicks. 1 from Cesar Alfaro and Lorente McCray. Okay, so 31st. Again, there was another team worse than us on offense somehow. Defensively, 27th. We improved by 1 spot, I think, on those standings. So obviously, no Jaguars in that. AFC Offensive Player of the Year. Same goes here. No Jaguars. Defensive Player of the Year. No Jaguars. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Ray Dillon, I think, is one of our tight ends. I think he was like our backup tight end this season. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Nobody from our team. Okay, so a pretty pointless season here. I don't think this team's going to really ever be good. Unless we can get a good quarterback, but we'd have to have a huge draft this season. 1 experience point for a couple guys, no one with more. 5 from Taven Bryan. That has to be a Pro Bowl. He had a really good season. Star Dev as well. He's actually a nice player to have here. 4 from Marcus May as well. Okay, alright, so those guys are developing pretty well. We have another pretty crappy looking draft here. If you want to see, who are the best looking players. Honestly, the best player in this draft is probably this guy, Kobe LaBounty. Interesting last name, but he's like clearly the best player who we are able to select. So you guys probably already noticed there's no quarterback. I couldn't find one. There's another good quarterback out of Florida State. There's one of these guys last year too, Zach Sharp. Actually looks pretty nice. I didn't scout him at all, but just based on his combine and where he's like projected to go, he looks pretty good, but we can't take him. So I'm going to go with LaBounty. Probably not going to be that bad of a player, to be honest. 72, quick development. Okay, well 92 speed, 91 acceleration, 87 agility. Not good, like coverage stats, but he's still not terrible. Obviously, like a huge reach. I took him number 1 overall, and we also have the number 2 overall pick. So let's go with whoever the next best looking guy is. Probably his left tackle, if I had to guess. Willis Myers. 69 overall, okay. If Zach Sharp is still there in the second round, I'll take him. I don't know if I'll start him, but I'll take him at least. So let's go with, how many? We have 3 more first round draft picks, so let's just go with Jonathan Brandt. 66 overall, okay. Let's see if we can get anyone over a 70. I should say anyone else over a 70, because the first guy we drafted, I think, was a 72, right? So Zach Sharp is still there. Like I said, if he's there in the second round, I'll select him. Kyrie Casey. 62 overall, but does have quick development. Is he still there? He is still there. Okay, so this is my last pick in the first round. If he's there by my next pick, I will select him. I don't think he'll start. Maybe. It depends. 65 overall for Ben Vabora. Let's go to the next pick. Let's see. Is Sharp still available? Ishmael Cook just went. And Sharp is actually still there. Let's go with him. 77 overall, quick development. Oh, man. I probably shouldn't start him. He went to Florida State. I mean, that's close enough. I might just start him. I really doubt he'll take us into the playoffs. If he does, then whatever. Makes it for a more interesting video. Makes for a more interesting kind of video. Craig Casey. Let's go with him. 64 overall to round out the draft. So I probably will start that quarterback just to see what he can do with this team. See if he can, allow them to win more than 3 games. So after we took that center, the computer drafted me a pretty nice looking middle linebacker. Rashawn Shaw. Pierce Gums. Alright. Banks Floyd. Oh, this guy's fast. 94 speed. Oh, man. Guy looks pretty good. So the draft after, we stopped selecting was actually pretty good, to be honest. The entire NFL, though, who was the first ranked player? Did we get the last ranked player? We did not. Alright, so the first ranked player was Eric Quarles, a tight end with 82 speed. How tall are you? 6'8". Okay, he's one of these guys. Pretty nice looking tight end. Alan Hardwick, pretty decent looking outside linebacker. This guy has 96 speed. Okay, 81 overall, superstar development out of Florida State. 96 speed, 95 acceleration, 81 catching, 88 deep route running. That guy looks very, very good. This team is kind of a disaster, at least on the offensive side. We have some decent pieces, though, I guess. I mean, like, the wide receiver core isn't good. Jordan Reed isn't bad, though, I guess. Offensive line is still decent. Trey Burton's very good, actually, so that's a bright spot on this offense. So I am going to be starting Sharp. I mentioned that a couple times. Of course, didn't go to Florida. Went to Florida State. But there's no chance he brings the team into the playoffs. I don't think he'll make that much of an impact. Even if he does, then it doesn't matter. It would make for a more interesting video, because if I started this Fisher guy again... No, it wasn't him. Was it Fisher? It was Fisher. Okay, so if I start him again, the team's just going to get like 3 wins. I pretty much know that for sure. With Sharp, there's a chance they get more. I don't know. Let's see. The defense is actually good, though. I'll say that much. Taven Byran, 84 overall. Star development. Actually turning into a beast. Marcus May up to an 87. So there's some very nice pieces on this defense. Let me make sure Antonio Morrison's the backup middle linebacker. Carlos Dunlap regressing like crazy. I'm going to keep him starting at left end, though. So, the defense on the team's actually nice. Special teams. Make sure Thompson's starting there. And let's make sure Vernon Hargrave's backing him up. And then let me check out specialist. Okay, so I'll have to change Floyd out. I'll make sure to do that. Everything else I think is okay. Actually, no. I need Gillisley to be the backup third down running back. Shaw has to get out. Okay, so I'll make sure those are all good, and I'll see you at the end of the season. For the third and final time, this team did not make the playoffs. They did go 5-11, though, so I guess it did a bit better with the rookie quarterback taking over. 1-3 in the preseason. Lost the opening 4 games. Got a 2-game win streak in there, though. Okay, lost 2 more. Beat the Browns. Lost 2. Beat the Bears. Lost 2, beat the Colts. He beat the Colts at least once each season, though. That's pretty cool, I guess. Le'Veon Bell wins MVP once again. So the rookie quarterback threw for a decent, number of yards, almost 4,000 there. 22 touchdowns, 15 picks. That's not a good ratio, though. Mike Gillislee, 10 touchdowns, maybe his best season. Definitely not in the yards per carry department, but at least in the touchdowns. Trey Burton gets over 1,000 yards with 11 touchdowns. Antonio Callaway, 868 yards, only 3 touchdowns, but decent season. Jordan Reed gets 6 touchdowns. Blocking, how was this? Not great, but not horrible. 128 tackles from Jarrad Davis was pretty good. 14 tackles for loss for Carlos Dunlap, 11 from Taven Bryan, Caleb Brantley, and Dante Fowler, and then 10 from Jarrad Davis. I keep fluctuating, I'm sorry. 5.5 sacks from Jarrad Davis, 5.5 from Alex Anzalone. Okay, we're definitely in a 4-3, so I'm not sure why Alex Anzalone got so many. 5 interceptions from Keanu Neal, 3 from Marcus May, 2 from Brian Poole and Joe Hayden, and then 1 from Jalen Watkins. Any defensive touchdowns? None. Any safeties? No. Any blocked kicks? We have 1 from Dominic Easley. Okay. 28th on offense. We improved a little bit. Defensively, we went down, actually got worse. 31st this time. Obviously no Jaguars. AFC Offensive Player of the Year. Again, not going to be a Jaguar. Defensive Player of the Year. Probably not still. Yeah, I don't see anyone. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Our guy actually comes in second. Doesn't really matter. Pierce Gums also is in there. Again, doesn't matter. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Morgan Tufts, whoever that is. Henry Murphy. Again, I don't recognize any of those guys, so I don't think we drafted them. Like, I didn't draft them personally. No Jaguars in Best Quarterback. Best Running Back. Same goes here. Probably not going to see a Jaguar. I'm like, actually, wait, what? Mike Gillislee made it? At number 10? I didn't even look at Best Quarterback. There's no chance our guard guy made it, right? Okay, yeah. He definitely didn't, but why is Mike Gillislee in there? I understand he had 10 touchdowns, but still. Best Wide Receiver. Okay, I guess I'll be more careful just in case any of our guys make it. Best Offensive Lineman, David DeCastro. Anybody from the Jags? I don't see anyone. Best Defensive Lineman. Did I say Defensive Lineman for this? I meant Offensive Lineman if I did. Anybody from the Jags? No, I don't see anyone. Best Linebacker, Von Miller wins that one. I think 3 Steelers linebackers are in there. Okay. Best Defensive Back goes to Minkah Fitzpatrick, 99 overall. Keanu Neal actually comes in 3rd. He had a good simulation for us. He had some good seasons at least. Justin Tucker wins Best Kicker. Nobody from the Jags. Alright, so this team is terrible. That's just what happens when you don't have a good quarterback. Honestly, I just had to rely on the draft. Maybe in one of these I'll use real draft classes. I don't know. I kind of like the suspense of having an auto-generated draft class and hopefully finding the correct pieces. I think it makes it more fun, but maybe one of these times I will use some real prospects. But thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys were still able to enjoy this video, even though the team was horrible, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.